So now I come to fish and health. Now you may think fish is good for health. That's sold in the market. I told you first, the fish net hypothesis. So you sell fish. Not all fish is good for health. Not all fish contains omega-3 acid. Actually, omega-3 is seen in cold water fishes somewhere. And omega-3 is not good for health. That's a different story altogether. Omega has had its time. Now some other omega has come. So omega has gone. And so many things come and go. It's like, a wheel. But fish is good for keeping the poor people who are not having any protein at all. It's the quality of protein and things like that does not matter. This is the biggest section of this world. 2/3 of the world suffers from a disease called poverty. Did you know that? You have not had a disease called poverty. No? You had cancer, you knew. Heart attack, you knew. No, biggest disease is poverty, because poverty is the mother of all diseases. Poverty is the womb of every single disease, from common cold to cancer, because poverty depletes your immune system. And immune system is the one which keeps you healthy. So poverty is somewhere where fish has a very big role to play. Nobody bothers about poverty. Not only here, in the whole world. I'll give you an example. India has about, say, or why India? Whole world has about 39 million AIDS patients. AIDS. You all heard that? Everybody knows about AIDS, because there is a concerted effort to sell AIDS, because AIDS has got treatment which the company will make money, and their company is funding for so-called research, and you get papers on AIDS. But India has 67 million people suffering from NIDS. You know NIDS? NIDS? Have you heard of that? No, you have not heard of that. Because there is nobody selling NIDS. NIDS is nutritional immune deficiency syndrome. And this kills thousands of children every day in India. Every day in India. How many million? 67 million. Whole of sub-Saharan Africa has 40 million. India has 67 million. But even the Prime Minister doesn't know there is what is called NIDS. The Health Minister doesn't know what is NIDS. Nobody is interested. You have heart day, diabetes day, kidney day, head day, leg day. I said, let us have a hungry mouths day. Think of those mouths which don't get food once a week. I wrote to the Health Minister, I wrote to the Prime Minister. Nobody think. I wrote a paper in the Hindu, Hungry Mouths Day. Why not have that? At least that day you think of them, do something for them. So your fish has a very big role there. But what kind of fish? If I go for a mackerel now in the market, 1 kilo is 200 rupees. Pomfret is 800 rupees. Now can that poor hungry mouth eat that? No. But we have some small fishes, which are not caught in the fish net. Not in science. They are unscientific fishes. Seen that? In the olden days, whenever the child, you go and give 1 quarter, you get this much of that. All, small fishes put together, which is otherwise thrown. Today probably fish, for fish manure, people can eat that. Because first class protein. Animal protein. Of course, you don't have to get protein from animals. But a lot of people think if you don't eat animals and fish, you don't survive. Such people, I tell them, I can't argue with them, because arguing is a waste of time. I tell them, you come to my place, I'll show you a nice elephant. You eat meat, no? You fight with that elephant which doesn't eat meat at all. And if you win, then I will say meat is needed. If you lose, then my old hypothesis is that the protein in vegetables is much better quality and more useful for the human body, and that's healthier, and you get less disease, because less protein you eat, longer you have a healthy kidney. You eat lot of protein, by the time you are 45, you go to the doctor and say, your creatinine is 1.2. I will do that. And after that, he'll say, I will do dialysis. After that, I'll give you a new kidney. Why stress your kidney? You don't require that. A biochemistry professor in Yale did a study of students who followed the Gladstone. Gladstone was a famous Prime Minister of England who used to write on everything. He wrote on chewing. He wrote a book. If you chew every morsel 200 times, you will be healthy. So there were some, students in the dorms are all crazy guys. So a few of them started chewing 200 times. And if you chew 200 times, you can hardly get about 5 grams of protein in a whole day, even if you sit the whole day and chew. But he observed them for 4 years in the medical school, and he found at the end they were healthier than the people eating the conventional diet, 1 gram per kilogram body weight of protein in the Second World War Nazi secret. And then he said, low protein diet is good. So fish is needed for saving these 67 million patients from suffering from NIDS. So you people must do a movement. P.C. Thomas's name. P.C. Thomas movement for saving the hungry mouths. through fish. So instead of saying fish for health, you say fish for survival. These people can't survive. They have nothing. And you can at least do something. And why are we not worrying about them? Because they don't get us money. Why is not Hungry Mouth Day taken up? There is no sponsor. Heart Day is taken up because all heart fellows, heart hospitals, they say sponsor free run from Shiva Prakash, from Fisheries College to this Jyoti Circle for heart. Who told you running from Jyoti Circle to Fisheries College will keep you ever going here? Nothing. But there is a sponsor, they will give money. Supposing I say tomorrow, I will declare P.C. Thomas Day for Hungry Mouths, except P.C. Thomas, nobody will sponsor it. Because there is no industry behind it. This is why nobody bothers about the disease called AIDS. Everybody bothers about AIDS because the NIH budget for 1 year of AIDS research is $8 billion. Cancer research is only $2 billion. Can you believe that? So anybody who calls himself an AIDS researcher, he gets a very big thing. You know, I'm an AIDS researcher. I'm in the NIH doing research on AIDS. Nobody will do research on hunger, poverty, because it doesn't pay. So the science is not science, but materialism. It's all ultimately materialism. Grant getting, paper writing, citation index. And for what? Getting more grants. And see, a peer review. What is peer review? I asked the Editors Guild in Vancouver. I said, what are you talking about peer review? Your peer knows only what you know or what is known. And repeating what is known is not progress. Karl Popper said, knowledge advances not by repeating known things, but by refuting false dogmas. I'll give you an example. Ptolemy in the 2nd century AD said, the earth goes round, the sun goes round the earth. The geocentric concept. For 500 years, every professor with PhD taught, sun goes round the earth. Then Copernicus came in the 7th century in Greece. Not Greece, actually it's Polish, in Poland. And Copernicus said, earth goes round the sun, the heliocentric concept. See, knowledge moved there. Come to medicine. 127 AD, Galen said, liver pumps blood. For 1500 years we taught in the medical college, liver pumps blood. PhD thesis written on liver pumping blood. Then 1528, William Harvey said, heart pumps blood. And today also we say heart pumps blood. 15 years ago I wrote an article, does the heart pump blood? No takers. Heart is a 300-gram muscular structure. If it is to pump blood with this strength, you know how much blood vessels you got? If you are about 60 kilos, you have got 5 lakhs kilometers of capillaries. 5 lakh kilometers of capillaries. You can go around India several times. That's the amount of blood vessels you got. These capillaries are smaller than your hair. Even a red blood cell can't go through it. It requires energy. So who is giving that energy? You require 142 horsepower for one circulation. Will you be alive? First beat itself, you are dead. No. Nothing moves in this world laminarly. Remember that. How can blood alone move laminarly? Everything moves by whirling. You go today to your bathroom, fill the bathtub with water and then pull the cork and watch how the water goes. And initially you won't see because there's a lot of water. As it goes down, boom, 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 it goes. Everything moves by whirling. You look at the river, it whirls and moves. So blood also whirls. So heart only gives a twist. And as it comes to the aorta, it whirls and collects energy, it goes. Next twist. The heart muscle is a peculiar muscle in the body. We say, oh, your ejection fraction is 40, you are very bad, I am going to give you a bypass surgery. Foolish idea, because ejection fraction is a linear measure. Heart is not a structure, heart is not a ball, heart is not a square, heart is not an oblong. So this Euclidean geometry of ejection fraction applied to a non-linear structure, such a foolish mathematics. You require Mandelbrot's fractal geometry, which we don't understand. So friends, fish is very good for health of the poor man. For the rich man, don't worry about fish because he's got so many other choices. Now let us concentrate on the poor man, which is the majority in the world. And if I were, if the poor man could give you money, you would be after the poor man. But poor man can't give you money. If a poor man goes to the hospital, they will never suggest bypass surgery for him. They'll say, hey, this will be all right, don't worry, this medicine you take and go. But a rich man goes, they'll first find out where is he coming. This bypass surgery is the best. You'll live forever, 100 years. I'm giving you blood. It's better than drug and things like that. That's why I wrote an article several years ago, which is all doing. It is not your health, damn it, it's your wealth. So we are not after your health. We are after your wealth. So friends, P.C. Thomas is a good man, a good teacher, good human being, and he means well. So in his name, let us start a movement called Movement for the Hungry Mouths through fish. Thank you very much.
I'm sure everybody has enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you very much for having agreed to come. And I also thank Professor H.P. Shetty to personally speak to you on behalf of us.
Even this morning he reminded me twice. If he could come, he would have come.
Should I? If anybody has any question, would it be okay?
Answers not guaranteed. Questions will come.
Yeah.
Sit down and talk. I would like you to sit down. Sit down. Give him a mic.
Hello. Hello. Sir, after the Cartesian reductionism, past 100 years, we have actually lost thinking in other terms. So whatever, for example, you're wearing a spectacle, that is because of the product of reductionism. Microphone is a product of reductionism. What I hold is a product of reductionism. Anything tangible which has come through a non-deductive way or in a holistic. We talk much about holistic science, but nothing tangible has come out.
Excellent idea. This is the classical argument put forward. Our science has given us so many things. Aeroplane to fly, cell phone to talk. You don't have to worry. You have everything. What you don't realize is this is not the solution to the problem at all. These problems, each invention that you have done creates more problems to mankind. You would be surprised. There is already an epidemic of cancer coming up thanks to the cell phone because children today get hooked onto the cell phone. In America, they have already got an epidemic of acoustic neurinoma, a tumor of the 8th nerve. The power of the electromagnetic waves that come from your cell phone is so powerful because at two ends you get it. You get the energy coming from the tower and you get the energy from this. And it's such an energy that it's like a microwave. You know, you keep your idli in the microwave and after 1 minute what happens? Your brain also gets heated up. Now I can go on like this because I have answered this question in a separate article. Now these are all right. Now, for example, you said, I have got the book. In the olden days, you didn't have a book, but you had to write on sand, which give you some exercise. You know, today, you put, every other woman comes to me and says, I got shoulder pain. You know, this is very fashionable. Frozen shoulder syndrome. And you go to the hospital, then physiotherapy, then this and that, turning, and then giving X-ray, etc., etc. Why? Look at my mother's generation. They had to grind. They had to pull water. Until 100 years, their shoulders were so good. And all this technology has made you unhealthy and killing mankind. And we didn't realize that. But holistic science is so good. Actually, there's a movement. Now, holistic science has gone so far. I didn't tell you that. Holistic science is so. If you really understand holistic science, the problems can be solved so easily. Energy, everything is energy. And once you know everything is energy, every treatment is energy. I was just telling my friend the other day, I have got a colleague of mine who was also a professor with me. His leg was to be cut. He had diabetes. And our treatment is very simple. Oh, your leg, it is infected, very bad, I'm going to cut. This man refused to be cut. He didn't want, because his idea was, if your leg is cut when you are alive, in the next janma, you will not have a leg at all. So he refused. So I came to know that he is refusing. So I went and talked to him. He said, no, he would much rather die than that. So I asked the surgeon concerned, take off all the pus. I will give some, we have got the electromagnetic energy devices. And he has got a normal foot back now. And today he was jumping. All my vessels have come back, man. What did you do? And things like that. We can do a lot of things. But, again, there is no money in it. That's the problem. There's no money in it. So nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. And today we can't push it in the market because peer review. Peer review. And peer says, no, it's not, you have no reference. The Nature wrote to me, your paper is very good, but you have no reference. I said, if I had reference, it's not original. I wrote to the editor. I said, you're not publishing it, don't worry. I will put it on the internet. It will get peer reviewed in the world. Today I have an open peer review system. You put it in the internet and you get more peer reviewers than what you have. I am an editor of a very prestigious journal. I know what peer review is. It's bullshit. What is it, RCT? You do randomized control trials. Cold randomized control trials have no meaning at all because you're comparing two things without taking into consciousness. Do your metal has consciousness? Did you know that? And J.C. Bose showed that metal has consciousness. That's why we build bridges which break. If you understand the consciousness of the metal and give elements for that, the bridge will never break. Metal is, see, you plucked all these flowers. I feel sorry, do you know? That plant will cry for a few days. You're thinking it's a joke? I put a mango tree when I first bought my house about 25 years ago. It's a dwarf. In 5 years' time, it started giving nice mangoes. I get about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 mangoes. My neighbor wanted to build a house because he had no house in that hill at all. So he asked me, can I cut a few of your branches because it comes, I can't put the compound wall. I said, go ahead. He cut the branches. Now for 3 years, not a single mango is there. It's crying. People laughed. The Nobel Committee laughed at J.C. Bose's work. But the Royal Society said, no, here is a brain. And they made him an FRH. And they took him to Cambridge and made him a professor. I was giving a lecture in the Royal College last year when I said about human consciousness. People laughed at me. And one of the professors who was the president of the Royal College, I wrote him a letter and gave the details of J.C. Bose's work. Do you know what he wrote? Dear Professor Hegde, I realized how big an ignoramus I was. They have at least they admit to that. So, even here we have a reductionist view of thinking. My telephone has come. Can it come with holistic medicine? No. Science. My science is great. You will have very good answers if you took that book by Feyerabend. Feyerabend is a not small man, PhD in physics. He became science philosopher. And that science philosophy book, Against Method, is a fascinating book. And Bernard Shaw wrote, if I use my intellectual capacity, I can't agree with any one of these scientists, especially from the arrogant scientists, from the arrogant nations. And those who agree with them do it to be with the herd rather than they have sold their soul. If you think in the class, do you think you will pass? You'll never pass. You'll never pass. I picked up a student, 7th standard student in the Manipal school, ordinary school. This boy has broken Ramanujam's magic square. Ramanujam wrote a magic square using his birthday. And this magic square is so nice. Any way you count, it comes to the same number. You count laterally, you count across, you take a 4 or 5, and anything you do, it comes to the same number. And this boy did it. So I took him to India Institute of Science and showed him to the professor of